Hi there, AJ here from the digidojo.com. As you can see, nobody there. I have 20 minutes left, so I decided to shoot this video because I really feel there's a need to elaborate on the last video that I shot, where I explained the two best reasons why Wado doesn't have Bunkai. And there's some negative publicity, right? When you upload something, everybody has their opinion. But this video, it's almost like I hurt people's feelings, right? So that's why I want to shoot this video to make it more clear, why Wado doesn't have Bunkai. Because I noticed that people, their responses came across as if it's my opinion that Wado doesn't have Bunkai. And I hate to break it to you, but it's a fact, okay? Wado doesn't use the system of Bunkai. And I saw some comments today. Usually I don't bother about comments, because, people will have their opinion anyway, and I'm not going into any discussion on the internet. Having said that, I always listen to everybody, including to my own dojo. I look what kids do. I see what, seniors do, even white belts. I always try to keep an open mind. But, in this case, the fact that Wado doesn't have Bunkai, it's not my opinion, okay? It's a fact. It's a fact. And I noticed that people actually got upset. They got sort of, reading the text, right? I didn't see anyone, but I noticed that people, they sort of got emotional about this. So let me share a short story with you where I more or less had the same experience, all right? When I heard the first time that Wado didn't have Bunkai. Because at the time, I was practicing, obviously. And, of course, I did my regular kata training, but also I tried to imagine, because they always say, well, you have to imagine your opponent. And, so I did. And I tried to imagine, the situation, okay, how is this going to work if you're sort of fighting with an opponent? And, maybe it was my lack of creativity or my lack of understanding. That's all possible. But anyway, you can understand that I was digging deeper at the time. I wanted to learn more, I wanted to know more. I always tried to get my theory up to par with my physical ability. So obviously I was also digging deeper in the theory, right? And everything I found in books, on internet, whatever, everything told me Bunkai, Bunkai, Bunkai. And it's a sort of, and I'm not talking about the system, I am simply talking about the terminology. And now, right? I had no clue what Bunkai was as a system. I just knew it was a Japanese word that they use, when they are talking about, okay, this kata, this movement has this kind of application, and everybody used the word Bunkai. So I checked it, and I thought, okay, Bunkai, so that is the meaning of kata application. Well, that turned out to be completely different, all right? But that's another story. The point is that I was really, I was investing all my time. I cannot say it took up my whole day, but basically it felt like that, okay? And I know, you put in your time, you put in your effort, and actually, because you put in so much time and effort, you start to develop certain beliefs. What I'm trying to say is that I was submerged, and I loved Bunkai. And at the time, I was getting very close to Ishikawa Sensei. And we talked, actually, it cost me a relationship, actually, because we were on the phone, well, in the eyes of my ex-girlfriend, too much. Because every time my phone rang, she was like, Ishikawa Sensei. And, I enjoyed it, because I was young. And wow, big karate master calls me. So at the time, we developed a very close personal relationship. And we talked, basically every day for, let's say, between 45 minutes, 1 hour. That was a regular phone call. And we would discuss many different things, but also we discussed karate, okay? And of course, there was like teacher and student, so I could not talk to him on equal level. But having said that, I could ask him questions. And it was up to him whether he was going to answer it in whichever manner. And I don't remember the exact phone call. You know, I don't remember what I said before. I don't remember what I said after. But at some point in the phone call, Ishikawa Sensei stopped me and he said, Wado does not have Bunkai. And I'm telling you, it's maybe a little bit exaggerated by words, but my world collapsed, really. So I can completely understand why people are reacting emotionally as if I am saying, this is okay, this is a very extreme example, right? So don't get upset. But I'm giving you now a very extreme example because that helps you to understand, all right? It's almost like saying to a very religious person, yes, but look, here's the evidence. God doesn't exist, okay? So you can imagine if you have dedicated your life to a religion and then someone comes along and says, well, look, here's the evidence, you know, your religion, it doesn't make sense. Of course, you know, you get upset. I can completely understand. And that's why I'm trying to explain to you that what I mentioned about Bunkai is not my opinion, it is a fact. And I can understand why people are reacting in this manner, because at the time I was doing, you know, a lot of thinking, a lot of homework, a lot of training, because I wanted to understand how does the kata work? What am I doing, right? I'm walking a pattern, and it's almost like I felt insulted when people said, well, yeah, in karate you have kata, it's almost like a dance. You know that kind of argument, and then people will say, no, it's not a dance. But I have to be honest, you know, at the time, I could say it's not a dance, but I didn't have any kind of argument that would actually explain what is the difference between kata and a dancing routine. Now I have it, yes, but at the time I didn't know. So the only thing I could do was trust on my teacher. And Ishikawa Sensei is saying like, okay, you know, Bunkai doesn't exist. So I wasn't happy because I thought, okay, all my work, it's gone. Right? I've been deluding myself for years of training. But here's the thing. It's semantics. Okay? If you are going to use Bunkai as a system to learn Wado, then I can say flat out, you know, that's counterproductive. Because if you're going to do that, you will never understand how Wado works. If you're going to use the system of Bunkai, let me be very clear on that. If you're going to use the system of Bunkai on Kihonkumite, you know, trying to understand Kihonkumite, then you won't get very far. In fact, you will stick at the surface. You will only know, oh, number one is like this, number two is like that. You will never get any further. I can say that with confidence, complete confidence. And that's because Wado has a different system. We have a different way of thinking, okay? So, small elaboration. People will say about Kihonkumite, well, it's not practical. And it's too formalized or something like that. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. It's not why Kihonkumite is designed. It's not how it is designed. That's not the reason why you have to practice Kihonkumite. And this is the whole key in Wado. And if you start to understand how Wado thinks, how Wado operates, then you will start to understand why we practice Kihonkumite, why we practice Kumite Kata. Okay? I'll get back in a second, just a second. All right, you noticed, you know, my students, they came in, so I have to wrap it up. You know, maybe this will not be a very good video because maybe, you know, technically I'm saying not enough. You know, this is almost like more getting it off my chest, what I saw today. But if you check the first video, all right, with an open mind, given, or how to put it, let me rephrase. If you are going to watch the first video, or if you have watched the first video, the first thing that you have to know is what Bunkai is as a system. If you don't know that, you can never understand what I'm talking about. Okay? And it's not, I don't want to sound harsh, you know, or cocky or whatever, but it's a simple fact. Okay? If you are going to teach kids in school, and they don't know 1 + 1 = 2, then it doesn't make any sense to start working with 3 × 4 or something like that. Okay, so It's really from that perspective. So you need to have a background, you need to have experience. If you don't have this, you know, then the first video doesn't make sense in the first place. Okay, so you need to have some understanding of what the system of Bunkai means. So if you have that, and you have watched the video, and you have concluded, you know, that what kind of rubbish I'm talking about, well, of course Wado has Bunkai. And also I notice people saying like, well, he's saying something like Wado doesn't have application. And that's really not the case. In fact, I mentioned in the video many times that we do have application, but we are not using Bunkai as a system. That's the most important to get from what I'm trying to tell you. Bunkai is a system. Okay, it's used by other styles. Wado does not use that system. So like I said, if you are going to use Bunkai as a system, and not Bunkai as the word for an application from kata, that's two different things, although people use the same word for it, then you know you cannot understand Wado. That's really what I'm trying to tell you, okay? But if you are just using the word Bunkai for kata applications that you made, you know, that's no problem at all. And that's what I started to realize. But in fact, you know, at the time I was studying Bunkai, I did use Bunkai as a system. Okay? I was not so experienced at the time, but I used Bunkai as a system. So for me it was almost like I had to reset. And now that I understand Wado much better than at the time, I can see clearly why Bunkai as a system is not going to work for Wado. And that's the only thing I'm trying to get across, that if you want to study Wado, if you want to learn Wado, I'm not talking about karate in general in this video. If you want to understand what Wado is about, and you are using Bunkai as a system, you know, then you have to stop using Bunkai as a system. I cannot make it any different than that. And you know, I tell my students, everybody has a reason, right, to practice karate. Everybody has a different reason, and it doesn't matter what reason, as long as you are happy. So if you want to use Bunkai as a system and still try to understand Wado, you know, by all means go ahead. You know, who am I to tell you don't do that? I'm just trying to say that I have seen so many people, you know, worldwide, and I know that what I'm trying to explain in these videos, this knowledge is not widespread. And that's why I'm shooting the video. You know, basically I'm shooting it to help you. Right? Why else would I shoot this video? So that's the whole key. Okay? So I'm having a feeling I could wrap up this video better, but I have to let them in because I'm already 1 minute late, and that's a very big, that's not good for me what to do, alright? So anyway, take care, see you in the next one.